I've been telling you about the Canadian boat to Gaza, part of an international flotilla to take a run at the Israeli blockade of the Gaza Strip. Now, I've made no secret of the fact that I'm opposed to the boat and think that it will only encourage those who want to smuggle arms into the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip. But in the name of fairness, we're bringing in somebody with the Canadian attempt to launch a boat with the Freedom Flotilla. Ehab Lotayef is with the Canadian boat to Gaza, joins us from our Toronto studio now. Thanks for coming in, sir.
Thank you.
Now, if you could explain to us why you decided you had to go this route with a boat that's going to try and take down the blockade, as opposed to using what the Foreign Affairs Minister, John Baird, NDP leader Jack Layton, and Bob Rae, the Liberal leader, have all said, which is use existing channels such as the Red Cross or other aid groups, if the goal really is to get supplies through to the people of Gaza.
A year ago, a flotilla of 6 ships tried to deliver aid to the people in Gaza. On that flotilla, there were 3 Canadians as individuals, only representing themselves. Opposing to that, there is our Canadian government that supports Israel, whatever Israel does. And we, as civil society, from coast to coast in Canada, decided that we have to do more than just send a few individuals to represent the point of view of thousands and thousands and probably millions of Canadians who say that the blockade is wrong and the blockade should end. And that's where the effort to launch a Canadian boat to join the next flotilla, that was a year ago, had started. And we knew that we have an uphill battle ahead of us. We want to distribute aid and bring aid to the people of Gaza, but we also want to say and want to show the world that we believe that the blockade is wrong, it's illegal, it's inhumane, it is causing a lot of damage to the people of Gaza, and there are no other routes, and I am willing to stand behind what I'm saying. There are no other routes to reach Gaza with aid enough to make the situation of the people there acceptable.
Well, but there is, because there are ports in Israel and Egypt nearby Gaza where you could deliver this aid without running the blockade and it would go directly in.
I'm sorry to contradict you, but the aid that was confiscated from the boats last year after Israel killed 6 people, and 9 people, I'm sorry, and then confiscated all what was on the boat, including people's personal belongings. There is no confirmed independent report that that aid reached Gaza or what part of it reached Gaza till now. If we look at the other side, at the Egyptian side, the Rafah crossing, which I have personally crossed through before, is a pedestrian crossing not equipped to transfer aid. And as we speak right now, the Rafah crossing has been closed for a few days because exactly that, not because of bad intention from the Egyptian new government, but because it couldn't cope with the size of people and material that's trying to go through. For logistic reasons, it had been crossed. So it is a myth that there are other routes. The people of Gaza, like the people of Canada, have the right to go through air and through sea to trade with the outside world. Imagine if Canada is confiscated to have only be able to go through the United States and not being able to use the air or the sea. How can people move?
If we were bombing, if we were using parts of New Brunswick or Quebec to bomb Maine, do you not think the Americans would do what they could to stop us from getting arms to bomb Maine?
And Israel can do what it could to stop weapons from getting into Gaza. That does not equate to a punishment of a civilian population of 1.5 million that are living under poverty line, that have unemployment that reaches up to 40%, and make their life miserable because it wants to claim that security is in danger. Let's not forget, let's keep things in context, please. Israel is the 4th strongest army in the world. It went into Gaza a year and a half ago, 2 years and a half ago, and it destroyed the total infrastructure of Gaza. And since then, it is not letting the people of Gaza even rebuild what it destroyed. This is not about security. I'm sorry.
Well, and this is not about poverty either. Let's be clear about this, because before the Intifada started, the Palestinian territories had the most booming economy of any Arab-controlled area in the Middle East. This was not an uprising about poverty, which you said this is about alleviating poverty. Before the Intifada, before Hamas taking over Gaza, they had a booming economy. Things have gone downhill because of persistent and consistent attacks on innocent civilians in the state of Israel. So Israel responded. People elected Hamas. to run the Gaza Strip. This is a group that has decided and still says that their goal is to eliminate Israel and the Jews. What would you have them do?
And Israel elected Avigdor Lieberman, who's currently the foreign minister of Israel, a country that has nuclear weapons, who is an approved racist, and nobody is saying let's boycott Israel. We can't punish people. Please let me finish.
Boycott Israel.
Please let me finish. There's not one government in the world that's saying boycott Israel. Currently, we're not talking only about humanitarian and only about food supplies to Gaza. There is a crisis in Gaza. I stand behind my words. I've been in Gaza. I've seen how Gaza is. But also we're talking about the liberty and the freedom and the right of people to live a normal life. If Israel lets the people of Gaza live a normal life and trade with the outside world and have a healthy growth, that is where violence will stop in the area. Israel can't have it both ways. It can't occupy Gaza and blockade Gaza and then expect the people to be silent and quiet and say, yes, sir, yes, sir. This is illogical and inhuman.
Where are your boats to Yemen? Where are your boats to Bahrain? Because Israel grants more rights to non-Jewish citizens of Israel. It granted more liberty to the people of Gaza in the Palestinian territories before the Intifada than any other country in that region. But why target Israel and not the other countries?
Sir, I am an Egyptian national as well as a Canadian national, and I stood strongly behind the Egyptian uprising, and we lobbied here and we moved and we supported. So it's not, your question again is just trying to divert from the issue we're talking about. I am not against, I am all for supporting all people who want their liberty and who want their human rights, and I play my role, and most people who are involved in the Canadian Boat to Gaza play their role in supporting all freedoms and all rights across the world. But to support the Palestinian people doesn't mean that you don't support the people of Yemen or the people of Egypt or the people of Libya. There is no contradiction there. What we are doing right now is we are supporting the people of Palestine. Maybe I'll be here on your show 2 years from now supporting other people or supporting the indigenous community in Canada. That does not mean that you'll ask me at that time, why are you not supporting the Palestinians? We support all freedoms.
Before we run out of time, I want to ask you, your website says that you're participating or dealing with non-violent means. The last time the boats went in, Israel said stop, or we'll send commandos down to take over the boats. They did not, according to the video that we can all see, they did not descend shooting, but they were greeted by people beating them with steel pipes and throwing one from one deck down onto the other. Will we see that sort of reaction again? Because I don't think Israel's going to let the boat through this time.
I can assure you that all the people that will be on the boats are going to be trained and committed to nonviolence. The question is, will the Israeli Navy be committed to nonviolence? Where is the footage that was taken by people on the boats? Why are we only seeing, why was it all confiscated by Israel? Because there is something hidden. It is not as simple as, again, as you're portraying it. There were attacks on the people that were shot in the middle of the top of their head, which means that they were shot from the helicopters. People on the Mavi Marmara, although I did not participate and I was not there, but these are proven facts. They did confiscate arms and guns from the Israeli soldiers that came down. They didn't shoot one Israeli soldier with this. They threw it into the sea. These are the things we have to keep in mind. This was an act of piracy in international water, and again, I would have hoped that the people would be more restrained and not fight back the Israeli soldiers that are pirating their ships, but they didn't. This time, we are committed to nonviolence. We will not fight back. It is up to Israel to be decent and apply the norms it claims it stands behind of not shooting at civilians. But also, we are worried. We are worried, and we know that might happen. Israel just killed 23 people on the Syrian border just 2 days ago that were unarmed, that were just trying to cut through barbed wire. So.
And that's another story that we could discuss another time. But we are out of time, and I hope that we'll be able to have you on to speak about the vote to Gaza closer to when launch or perhaps after. Mr. Lotayef, thank you.
Thank you for having me.